All right. All right, I'm here with Mr. Thomas again, and we ran into each other working out at the Planet Fitness, and he gonna give you an update of just how life is going. And can you give us that illustration about what you talked about achieving nirvana, and kind of explain what that meant?
Well, first off, I'm doing well. My wife is at 21 weeks, so we're excited about that.
You got a baby coming?
We got a baby coming. Yeah.
Man.
It's our first child. We've been trying for about 6 years. Yeah, we got one coming.
Congratulations,
I'm really happy
brother.
about that. Thank you.
Right. So you said something about we had a conversation about achieving nirvana.
Right.
Can you give the people an illustration of what that means and what you told me here a few minutes ago?
Okay. So nirvana isn't necessarily a place in time or space.
Right.
It's a state of being.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you're able to essentially remove the ego from yourself. You remove heartache from yourself. You remove judgment from yourself. You cut away all the negative things that are you.
Right.
And you're just being at that point. There's no bothersome thoughts. There's no worrisome hearts. There's just a state of peace.
Okay.
And you keep that with you as long as you can hold on to it. But if you try to hold on to it, you're gonna lose it. You can't really think about it. It's tricky like that.
Okay.
Because thinking essentially is the enemy of nirvana.
Okay. Thinking is the enemy of nirvana.
Yeah,
okay.
In a sense, yeah.
So how do you achieve it then?
Practice. Monks, they take vows of silence at age of 8 and 12,
okay.
and they just practice their whole lives. You know, some people say it takes several lifetimes to achieve.
Okay. Right.
But really, it's just about applying. Well, not even applying yourself. You just have to let go of everything.
Okay.
Everything you love, everything you hate, everything you want to be, everything you don't want to be. You have to let all that go to find that state of peace.
Okay, you had it for about 3 days, and
Yes,
you've been trying to. You say you've been trying to chase it and find it ever since.
Yes.
All right,
now,
tell us about that.
I'm not going to say I had nirvana. I don't believe that.
Okay, I got you.
But I do know what I call, and what somebody else has told me, it is a moment of clarity.
Okay.
Now, during this time, if you were to sit outside and look up at the sky, all the trees would just be glowing.
Okay.
Everything in nature would be glowing, like it just beautiful, immaculate. Like you could see every single color on them.
Okay.
I had no will to argue. I barely had a will to talk. It was amazing. I've never experienced anything with it in my life. It's just peace.
Okay.
That's all there was.
How long ago was that?
That was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. All right. So here's the illustration I want to give you.
Okay.
I had a friend, and she was in a 2-story. She had a big 2-story house.
Okay.
It was a beautiful house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even though I didn't see the creator of the house, I knew somebody created the house.
Mm-hmm.
But one day, a tornado came and blew the 2-story house down to its foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even know how they survived. I think their daddy pulled them under the couch the last minute before the tornado took the whole place away.
Mm-hmm.
And man, we were going out helping her pick out all her stuff throughout the field because the neighborhood had just been blown.
Mm-hmm.
But her particular house was just blown to the foundations.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose of the house for people to live in the house.
Mm-hmm.
That was the purpose of the house, people to live in and be comfortable.
Right.
Now what happened is builders came in and they fixed the house.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to move back in the house and live. Now let me tell you why I give you that illustration. What best accounts for the explanation of that home and how it was taken away, that it was a house at first.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
It was torn down.
It was torn down.
Somebody rebuilt it.
Somebody rebuilt it.
Okay.
And that and then the purpose of the house is for people to live in. It just makes sense.
Right.
All right. So think about this when it comes to what you believe and what I believe. You got to look at the world and you got to say, what gives the best explanation of how the world was created,
Mm-hmm.
and what is the purpose of why God made the world,
Mm-hmm.
and then what happened to mess up the world, and what's gonna fix the world? What's the best explanation? Now remind people what you believe in real quick.
I'm a Taoist.
Taoist.
/ Buddhist, but mostly Taoism.
All right. So first question is, based on what you believe, the Taoist and Buddhist, well, how do you think human beings came into existence? How does the world come into existence?
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
That don't concern me.
It don't concern you. I got
It
you.
don't concern me at all. I
Okay.
mean, scientists will tell you we were a ball of lava and then water
Okay.
and life and all that.
Okay.
I don't know that. I was not there. Were you there?
I wasn't there.
No, nobody I know was there, so
That's right.
nobody can tell me. It
Gotcha.
does not concern me. That's one of those things I'm talking about, like with a worrisome mind, a ponderous mind. You can think about the infinity of the universe,
Right.
but we don't know what creates it.
That's
For
right.
all we know, we're the imagination of ourselves.
Okay. All right. So second question
Mm-hmm.
is, what do you think the purpose of which you exist then, based on Buddhism and Taoism? What do you think the purpose you exist?
Why does there have to be a purpose?
Okay.
I mean,
man,
I could tell you, Buddhism would say your purpose is to attain nirvana.
Okay. Pause it right quick.
Okay. And Taoism doesn't really focus on a purpose.
Okay. No purpose.
Ultimately, kind of what I think
Okay.
is that, and I've said this before, is that
Yep.
we are all God.
Okay.
Everything
Gotcha.
is God. And that's where I stand. I'm not, I'm just not worried about it.
Okay. All right. All right. I appreciate that answer. So the next question is, how do you account for the world being so messed up? Why do you account for a world being so messed up based on what you believe? Why is the world is like it is?
I think I've touched base with you on something like
Yep.
this before.
Okay.
Where if everything was perfect,
Yep.
if everything was beautiful all the time,
You
wouldn't
did
you
say
get bored?
that. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Wouldn't it be bland, like
Right.
chicken with no seasoning on it? And
That's a good illustration.
as far as good and bad go, each one needs the other.
Okay.
Good needs bad to know what bad is. Ultimately, good and evil are the two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
You can flip a coin every day. Something
true.
good's going to happen to you, or
Right.
something evil's going to happen to you. You never know what's happening.
Okay. It spawned another question.
Okay.
So, based on Taoism and Buddhism, where do you get your standard of goodness from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, like we have to have a standard. Like, good is the standard, right?
Allegedly.
Then allegedly, okay, good is the standard. So, because we're measuring, when we say something is bad, we're measuring it based on some kind of good standard of goodness.
Right.
So, based on what you believe, what is the standard of goodness based on Taoism and Buddhism? What determines what's good?
The person experiencing it.
So it's relative? Would you say it's relative? It varies from person to person, or is it?
I would say
is
that,
it one standard where every?
I think it varies from person to person. I mean, okay,
Okay.
and this is going to be kind of crazy, but just hear me out.
Okay.
Okay, say like there's two people, one woman, one man.
I got you.
They come together.
Right.
This man likes to beat on this woman,
Right.
and she hates it. She
Right.
cries about it. She tries to get away. She does everything she can to walk on eggshells to keep him from beating her.
Right.
Now, let's take another couple, another man, another woman.
Right.
Now, maybe this woman liked to get hit.
Okay.
Maybe she liked to be bent over the knee and spanked on.
Okay.
Maybe she liked to
Yep.
be slapped around and choked and stuff like that. There's
Yep.
people out there to do that. So, which one is bad and which one is good?
Okay. So
How you experience it.
So you experience. Okay. Okay. What do you mean by that?
I'm saying if you're able to, and I told you judgment is something we try to stray away from in
Right.
Taoism. If you can get to a point where you can stop judging good and evil,
Okay.
where do you stand? And see,
Then where do you stand?
That's the ultimate piece. Because again, you're not
Okay.
worried about which is which. You're
Okay.
seeing the world as it is.
I see. Okay. Do you have a standard of goodness, or would you determine what's good?
My thing is, I don't care what nobody does,
Okay.
as long as you ain't hurting yourself or someone else.
How do you think we fix a world that's so messed up?
Let's start that by fixing ourselves.
Okay. And how we do that? You think?
Through meditation, through
Right.
understanding, kindness,
Right.
forgiveness. Why aren't
Right.
you reaching for bigger, better things within yourself? Not in the world, because you can't control the world. All you
Right.
control is yourself.
Yeah.
Your reaction, both internal and external. And I'll tell you what, if you get your internal reaction under control, your external reaction will follow.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. All right. So quickly, I'm gonna explain based on what the Bible says to answer those 4 questions.
Okay?
A really thinking person is going to look at the world and say, okay, what best explains the reason why the world is? Because if you're going to believe something, you got to be ready to defend it, or you can't get people to believe what you believe. That makes
Why
sense?
do you have to defend it? I'm not worried about getting other people to believe what
True.
I believe. You know what
All
I'm saying? I'm worried about me living in the now and what I'm doing.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you're going to have a baby one day.
Yeah.
And just like all kids, they're going to want to explore daddy.
Mhm.
Especially this day and age. They're going to explore daddy. Like, why do you believe what you believe? And if you can't convince your baby, that's going to be disturbing to you. Let's just say they believe, I believe I'm supposed to be a serial killer because that's what's truth to me. And so you don't want them to believe something that's going to destroy them and destroy the lives of other people, because if truth is relative, that means they got to believe what they believe and you believe what you believe. You don't want to see your baby go through that. You know what I'm saying?
I get where you're coming from.
What do you think I'm trying to say?
You're trying to say, basically, if I don't pass down certain values, to
Some
my
type of
child,
value.
As far as being a moral guide for anybody, all you
Yeah.
can do is point.
That's right.
Say, this is how it should be, this is
That's
how
right.
it shouldn't be. And again, that falls into judgment.
Right.
But if you're trying to make somebody good,
Yeah.
you have to try to instill those values on them. Now, here's the thing.
Right.
My mother-in-law is very religious.
Okay.
And she wants to take the baby to church. And I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Until the baby says, I don't want to go no more. Now, when
Yeah.
they say that, that's that free will.
Yeah.
And if they ever ask me, I'm going
Right.
to tell them what I know, what I believe. I'm going to give them the book.
Right.
I'm going to tell them to read it every week, once a week.
Come on,
The more you read
the
it,
Taoist.
Tao Te
Taoist.
Ching.
All right. Would you give him the Bible or you wouldn't give him the Bible?
I would teach them about the red words in the Bible.
Okay, the red rock.
Everything else is just kind of...
Okay, I got you. Okay. All right, so let me just quickly explain those 4 questions, just to give you a reasonable explanation for how the world is what it is, okay? Because if my daughter comes to me and my kids come to me, they say, Daddy, where you believe what you believe? Answer those 4 questions for Daddy. So first question, baby, Daddy said, Daddy, where you think we came from? Because my kids ask me this kind of stuff all the time, and I'm telling you they will. They're going to wear you out. And I can go to a Bible, one source, and say, well, the Bible says God created, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He created human beings, and He's designed human beings to be perfect, just like the Adam and Eve story. And man, that's how God originally designed the world. Well, so what's our purpose then? Why did God make us then? Well, the purpose of that the Bible says God made us is to give God glory, meaning that all right, just follow me just really quick. So for instance, if you drew a painting or something like that, and that painting can come to life, you drew that painting so that when people see the painting, they don't get a painting glory, they give the artist glory. So God created us for His glory, because when people see us and we are living the way He wants us to live and living the way He designed us, God gets glory and we get satisfied. That makes sense? So
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I get it.
When He gets glory, we are most satisfied, right? So that painting went off and did anything he wanted to do, and then never turned around and said, Thomas, thank you for making me like this. You want to crush the painting because I made you. You didn't make me, I made you. And so you're supposed to point back to the Creator. And then when you're pointing back to Creator, that's when you're most satisfied. All right?
And Taoism tells you, what you got a clay vessel, what makes it useful? What makes a clay pot useful?
Because of its function, right? Because of what it's created for. Oh, I see. Okay.
So all things can pour into it.
I understand. Right. And that's kind of my point when it comes to God, you being the Creator. Like, we have to empty ourselves so God can fill us up. And that's when Jesus comes in. All right? That's the only thing that can truly fill a person up based on what the Bible says, okay? Then the last question is, so we asked the first question is, how do we get here? We know that the Bible says God created human beings. The next question is, what's man's purpose? Is to give God glory. And when God is glorified, man is most satisfied. The next question is, why is the world so messed up? Why does people hurt people? And why does my brother take my stuff and have an attitude and, spit in my face? Why did my brother do that? I said, well, baby, what happened was when Adam and Eve did what they did, they chose to eat from the tree they weren't supposed to eat from. Immediately sin came into the world, and it affected every human being and everything we see. That's why men are born sinners. All right? She's going to say, well, Daddy, what can we do to fix it? I'm not going to tell her, well, just go try harder. Because men were created, based on what the Bible says, men were only created to function best when it's connected with the Creator. So how can we fix it? The Bible says God loved us so much that 2,000 years ago, we broke it. God sends Jesus to fix it. And so the only way that we can be made right with God is through His Son, Jesus. So think about that when it comes to that house again. The house was created by what? A builder. Well, the tornado, what happened was wrong is the house was blown down, right? When the house was blown down by the tornado, what happened next is, well, what was the purpose of the house? For what we can live comfortably in. Well, what happened is the tornado blew it down, but Daddy, how can we fix the house? Well, we have insurance. And insurance comes and builds us back up. That's a good explanation for why the house was like it was. Based on the world, that's a good explanation based on what the world is like it is. And so based on Taoism, you gotta answer those questions for you to be really effective in what you believe and then passing it on to people. Because if it's good, you need to export it.
It's not really something you can pass to people, though. That's the thing about Taoism. You can't, it's difficult for me to sit here and tell you about it because it's so cryptic. You know what I'm saying? It's understanding that you have to attain internally to move forward in the process. So when it comes to defending it, I'm not worried about defending it. That's you. Now, if you want to know, I can point for you. I can point and tell you
where
to start looking.
Right.
But the journey is yours. Nobody is going to be able to unite the world in total peace. I mean, I know y'all believe that kind of stuff, but because that is an internal journey. That is a strictly internal journey.
Okay. This has been awesome. I appreciate you doing this, man.
No problem.
Could you give any of the people that's doing this anything you want to say to them? Or
the mind is not.
What's that mean?
Exactly what it says.
Mine is not.
The mind is not.
All right, guys. Tommy got a really, really cool joke for you.
How does Moses drink his tea?
I told him I didn't know.
He brews it.